The Joe Rogan Experience.
Mr. President, it's great to have you back on the show again.
Yeah, nice to be here again, Joe.
So I suppose the first order of business has to be this whole debacle with Zelensky and the Ukraine minerals deal.
Yeah, what a shit show that turned out to be.
Boy, did it ever.
Yes. Well, we had several meetings with him and Vice President Vance, as well as Secretary Rubio, and we had a deal in place ready to be signed, and he tried to pull a fast one on us at the last minute.
So what do you think went wrong there, Mr. President?
Well, the intricate details of it I really can't go into because of national security, but the bottom line is he tried to bluff his hand, and he's not holding aces. He's not even holding a pair of deuces. The American people loaned them billions of dollars, and this is very important for people to understand. That money was not a gift. It was a loan. I repeat, it was a loan, which means it has to be paid back. Now, they certainly do not have the ready cash on hand to pay those loans back, so they have to provide us with something of great value so we can recoup those funds that the Democrats sent over to them by the boatload. And that something just happens to be various minerals like lithium, cobalt, and others, and he tried to rewrite the deal at the last minute to hamper our access to those minerals and the revenue they would create, and that was a deal breaker. We have to have complete oversight on those operations to ensure we are getting what we're supposed to be getting, and there's a lot of infrastructure that has to be put into place because everything they have over there is old and worn out, so all of it has to be replaced. And all that work requires American companies having a presence there in Ukraine. And he didn't like that, but there's no other way that it can be done. Well, Joe, like it or not, he is on the hook for billions of dollars in money and munitions and supplies that we, the American people, provided to them. And they can't just renege on the deal. Plus, I think it is important for the people to know that if we have that vested interest in all that infrastructure and machinery, we will want to protect those assets, and his country would be far safer as a result of that. I know he was at one time a stand-up comedian, and maybe he thought he could tell us a tall tale like a joke, but this joke doesn't have a punchline, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense to me, Mr. President. I mean, if I was to loan somebody some money and then later they didn't have the cash to pay me back, they better have something of value to cover that loan.
Yeah, Joe, that's called collateral. And their collateral is all their mineral rights and our complete access to those minerals.
So from what I've seen on the news is that he was asked to leave the White House pretty unceremoniously.
Oh, yeah, I just told him, get out of here. I'm not going to deal with a two-faced lying shitbag sitting there arguing with me in the Oval Office and trying to tell me how things are going to go. We hold all the cards here, Joe, so we decide what the rules or the guidelines or the substance of the deal is going to be. Not them. Definitely not them. They owe us, big time. And now that the whole war scenario has dissipated a little bit, he doesn't want to pay up. Well, that's unacceptable.
So did he go over to the dignitary residence there in Washington?
No, we were going to put him up in that place, but he was such a dirtbag about everything, we sent him over to the local Motel 6, which doesn't have good cable TV, by the way. I think they only get the basic channels. He tried to get us to agree to hooking him up at Howard Johnson's because he likes their pigs in a blanket breakfast. But I said, nope, it's Motel 6 for you, bucko. One other thing I need to explain here, Joe, is that there have been millions of lives lost in this whole fiasco. Millions of lives, Joe. And for what? So that the Democrats could continue their military-industrial complex money train. It's sick, Joe, just plain sick. History talks about all these great leaders, and they were all killing people with their armies. People may not like me because of my politics or because I'm rich. But I don't want to be remembered as a president that killed a bunch of people. And it wasn't just the Democrats either, Joe. Look at what Bush and Dick Cheney did. Oh, and let's not forget Donald Rumsfeld. What a piece of work that guy was. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. They all have a lot of blood on their hands, and I don't want that to be my legacy. I may be a ruthless New York businessman, but I'm no warmonger, Joe. Not at all.
No, I don't think you are, Mr. President. Well, is there anything else you need to talk about today, Mr. President?
No, I think I got that rant out of my system.
All righty then. Okay, everybody, thanks for stopping by, and see you all in the next one. We are out of here.
The Joe Rogan Experience.